So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the RGM Experience podcast. And I'm here with previous guest, and I've been dying to speak to him again and catch up. Andrew Cushin. Hi, mate.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Yeah, sound pal. It's been a lot. The world's changed a lot since the last time we saw you, and I think the last time we had a chat was just after you'd released your song that Noel helped you with, Noel Gallagher, and you know. A lot's changed since then. Were we in lockdown then? I can't even remember what we're going on. Is that?
Yeah, we were. Because I remember going down, and there was talk of everybody in the studio having to wear a mask.
Right.
And I spoke to Noel on the phone, and he said in absolute clear terms that he will not be wearing a mask. Yeah, so it was definitely in the lockdown.
Yeah, brilliant. So, like, you know, I'm not going to go over old ground. It's covered on the previous episode of the podcast, you know, the experience of recording with Noel and, you know, how much that, him sprinkling his little Noel dust on your last single and just how well everything went. So you can delve into the archives. I'll put a link to that on the podcast description so people can look back on it. But let's move forward a little bit. How do you reflect on that experience now we're a year or two on from it? How do you feel about it looking back on it now?
It's a funny one looking back on it. Like it's a pretty mad thing. Obviously, we're still in a close relationship with Noel, and we're still texting now and again, and he gets in touch, and we're doing a couple of festivals with him, and hopefully might be doing a couple of shows with him. But looking back, I was so naive as a musician that I'd got this opportunity, and we'd been signed by Virgin and all that, and we'll go. If I think to myself 2 years ago now, I just think what a little prick, do you know what I mean? It's like absolutely thought he had it all, and we've matured and learned so much in the last 2 years. It's been amazing, and Noel's really helped with that. Thinking back to the actual Noel experience, I've had a lot more time to process it. I know I've spoken to you since doing the recording, and I said I was trying not to think about it, and I was just, you know, it was a blur, and I was living in the moment and all that kind of stuff. We've had a chance to think back to how amazing it was now. You know, I was 20 years of age, and I got to share a studio for a week with, you know, arguably one of the best songwriters of all time, let alone you know, our generation, or your generation. But it was just amazing. We met some unbelievable people. We had the High Flying Birds play on the record, and as I say, Noel's still been in close contact since then. We're gonna, you know, and it's a good relationship having, because he plays that guitar solo and stuff. There's no reason why one day, fingers crossed, he might join us on stage to do it. Do you know what I mean? So we've definitely built a good.
That's got to be nailed on it. That.
Well, I don't want to say too much.
Yes, okay, yeah, sure. That's just me getting a bit excited.
Yeah, but no, it's great, mate. It's great, and it's a good thing to think back on. And it's definitely something that, you know, if my musical career ends tomorrow, that is one of, if not the highlight of what I've achieved in the short time I've been doing it.
Sure, brilliant. So what, you know, a lot has changed, as we keep saying. I've been enjoying your Twitter rants, Andrew.
You're the only one that does. You're the only one that so much stick of all my mates, to the point that I've now started unfollowing us. I'm on a bit of a Twitter ban at the minute. Not like by Twitter, just
my you've banned yourself.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's more family and friends that banned us, to be fair.
Okay.
But some of them are just, I don't know if you can put them on in little corners of this video for YouTube, but some of them are fucking horrific. Like, some of them are just absolutely stupid.
My personal favourite are the ones around the panic buying on petrol.
Yeah, we're great. I'll sell my arse for 10 hours worth of petrol. It's pretty fucking genius. But then some of them, you know, are a flop when they get like 4 likes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but they're good. They're good. I do like Twitter. I do like it. I'm not much of a wind up. You know, when you see these big, and I know John Terry started doing it now. Actually, he started like the wind up. I'm not really into the wind up. I'm not a big fan of going on and causing hassle. I just like to go on and spout shit and just see how it gets taken.
The name's probably dropped. Who's the best at it on Twitter now? What's he called? You're beautiful. You're beautiful. Who sings that? What's his name now? James Blunt. Yeah, he's brilliant on social media. He's the king at winding people up. You know, just like.
Really?
Yeah.
And I'll have a bit of a back and forth with him, like.
yeah, I get involved with that. He's brilliant at it. His humor's so dry. It's a little bit like, you know, you like to say things how it were, and I think one of the things that bothered you were because you're a traveling musician and you need to travel up and down the country, and if there's no petrol available, then you can't work. and there's
Well,
people,
that's it.
there's people at the end of your street filling 2 cars up for no real reason, other than they've just seen other people do it.
And the thing that done my head in was that if that wasn't put on the news, then nothing right, because we weren't actually running out. Do you know what I mean? We only ran out because people started panic buying. It's like, I think it's like when somebody says, "Oh, you're running out of fucking crisps," you go and buy all the crisps, don't you? But you're not really running out of them. It's almost like a stunt to sell more, really. Yeah. But it was ridiculous. We were doing a show in Stockton at a festival, and my band were coming up from Nottingham, and they couldn't make it, so I ended up having to do it acoustic. So a lot of those tweets were driven in hate.
Yes.
Bastards. Anyway, I'm not too sure how to swear on this podcast.
You can swear. You can say what you like, mate. It's cool. It's cool. So you've put yourself on a little banner Twitter then.
Just a little one. I'll be back. Some of the stuff, 90% of the stuff that I put on Twitter is absolute nonsense. But I do have a little Twitter draft as well.
Right.
And those are the stuff that definitely kind of go on. So there is stuff that I have got a little bit of a filter. Do you know what I mean?
How do we access
Sometimes
that?
I put some stuff. Yeah, I'll be my career. There's some quite pivotal and controversial tweets in the drafts, like. So I have got a little bit of a filter. Like the day that they get out is fucking when I go into hiding.
Did the label get involved with stuff like that? Do they like have a word with you out like that? Like no. I don't think they should. You need to be you.
Yeah. And I mean, no disrespect. Listen, where we're strapped now, and we've got a great relationship with it. The bloke who runs it, Jai, and obviously Pete as well, who runs it, and they're fucking great. And the thing that I love about this label is that we've got the freedom to do whatever. Do you know what I mean? There's not a great deal of artists on it, but we went down. I'm sure we'll speak about this later on, but we went down and we've done an EP the other week, and I was given the freedom to do what tunes I liked and kind of produce it how I liked, and I think that that's one thing that's missing now in music is the individuality. Do you know what I mean? Every two shitbag pop stars are the same. Do you know what I mean? They really are. You put the radio on and every song sounds the same. Every interview sounds the same.
It's like hearing an interview from a footballer, isn't it?
It is.
It's just absolutely identical and bland and safe and completely afraid of saying the wrong thing and just not. I hate how there's not that many personalities. There's loads sprinkled over the country, but and that's why I enjoy speaking to you, because you're a personality, and I just love how outgoing you are with it.
I'll talk to you, and I'll do any interviews as well. Down the board, I can talk on my face. It doesn't really faze me. Obviously, sometimes you say things and you want to claw it back, but no, it's fucking just get on with it, man. It's life. It's as I say, that's the one thing that's missing. But answer your question, no, they don't get involved. Yeah. They did. Obviously, we weren't with Strap at first. That was a little bit of how people wanted us to go on. Maybe it's in the early days when we first signed with Virgin. I was a little bit of like, no, you can't be doing that. You need to be doing this. And you need to be doing that.
Yeah.
You need to be doing this. You need to be wearing this fucking hat on a Tuesday, and you need to be wearing these trousers on a Sunday, and all that kind of stuff. But no, I'm Geordie. Absolutely don't listen.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, funny tweets and that kind of stuff aside, you've built did you have the band behind you the last time we had a chat 2 years ago? Is that how recent is the full band behind you? How did that come?
So after I tell you, if Noel Gallagher hadn't produced Where's My Family Gone, I possibly still would have been doing it acoustic now, or maybe he's just been to put the band together. The issue I had was the songs in the demos that I was doing. So at that time, it's going to get better, and Waiting for the Rain and stuff were out. I could replicate how those songs were sounding live. Do you know what I mean? Because they were so guitar, like acoustic, sort of guitar based. And then when we went and done Where's My Family Gone, I remember sitting with Noel when we were listening to the rough mix back, and I said, like, how am I going to replicate this live? And he's going to have to get a band together. All right, shit, okay. So that was a little bit of a lockdown project, and I've said this a few times, but I'll say it again. I haven't got any kids. I can only compare it to having fucking kids, because it was the most stressful thing in the world. I love them all. They're like my second family, but fuck me, are they hard work. Particularly the drummer. It was an absolute head case. But no, it's good. And obviously the show Manchester that we'll talk about before the interview. Yeah. That'll be a full band. But there's 5 who are in the band now. We've got a new lad joining. He's coming to do the keys. Richard, he's called. So the
how do you find these people? Are they from all over the country? How did you put the band together? Because I manage a band, and getting 5 people in the same room together is a fucking nightmare. And if you spread out over the country, how did you find these people, and
Just
to come and join the
podcast. Websites and sort of plenty of fish and all that kind of stuff. So.
Okay, rent a keyboard.
Yeah, that's it. The bass player lives up the road from me.
Oh, cool.
I used to play darts with him, so he's a good lad. The drummer came to my first ever This Feeling show, just because he read that somewhere that I was involved with Noel Gallagher and wanted to come, and he said, "Listen, if you ever need a drummer, like I'll be there." And then 2 years later, I needed one, so obviously I gave him the shout. And then the guitarist, his mate, and the keyboard player has joined us in the studio a few times. He used to be predominantly a session musician, but he's incredibly talented. So he made the leap a few weeks ago to come join the band full time. But it's pretty mad because one of the songs that we've got coming out, it's got a saxophone on it, right, for the first time ever. And I don't know if you know this, but there's another lad from Newcastle who really likes the saxophone as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't do it, mate. I can't bring myself to put a saxophone player on stage because it'll just look like a Sam Fender tribute. I'm going to get away from that one. But there's definitely room for one more. Yeah. I just can't think what it's going to be. Do you know what I mean? Whether it'll be another guitar. 3 guitars is a little bit too heavy for me. So we're going to have to think. There's definitely room for another instrument in there somewhere, but can it be sax? Because Sam's doing the sax thing. Do you know what I mean?
Is it intimidating seeing Sam from other side at City just, doing so well, and you coming?
Nah, he's shorter than me, mate. He's shorter than me.
Do you know him anyway?
Yeah, I do know him. He's a good lad. He's a really good lad. We get on well, me and Sam. No, it's not so much intimidating. It's quite what's the word I'm looking for? It's not intimidating. It's the other one. It's the one that spurs you on.
Inspirational. It spurs you on to see it's possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah,
I saw you winding him up on Twitter, by the way, as well, when he were hungover at BBC on that interview we did it morning.
Oh, really? I wind him up. Fucking hell, man. See what I mean?
I might have just made that up.
I hope you have. No, he's a good lad. He's doing really well. But again, like these people, saying these people, music goers and music listeners, and I was the same before I started. I seen Play God come on the radio, and the next thing, Hypersonic Missiles came on the radio, and then 10 months later, he's got a #1 album. I thought, fuck me, he's came out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? It's just an overnight thing. But if you actually go into Sam's story, man, it's really, really, really inspirational, man. He's been going for about 5 or 6 years in non-stop graft. I had the pleasure of sitting down with him before this album came out, and he played us a few tunes from the new record, and he was just telling us stories about like gigs that went bad, or supporting Ben Howard, and this show could have been better, and he'd done so many gigs without a band, and I was like, fucking hell, man, like he's just a normal kid that's really grafted for it, and he deserves every bit of success that he gets. I'll never tell him that to his face, but he does. He deserves every bit of success he gets. He's a good lad, but it is hard work. Like there's nothing in this game now where you're going to be an overnight success, unless you want to remix it fucking 60s classics like people are doing on TikTok and getting Radio 1 plays and all that kind of stuff, which is just nonsense to me. If you want to actually do some music like he is, you've really got to put the graft in, man. Another example is the Lathams. They've absolutely smashed it again. They grafted all the way through the lockdown, so many gigs. I think it's the only thing to do now. But no, I see artists like that is really inspirational.
Yeah, no, and when we talk about it a lot on this podcast, just raising awareness of the journey from being just starting off, learning, making your mistakes, and finally getting somewhere within the industry. And when you finally get somewhere, when you get a record deal, that's when the hard work should really start as well, and build on that. Even when you got a record deal, you've got to work as hard as what you do in day one to even get to the stage to get a record deal. It never eases off. It's the hardest industry in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you've got to begin to work harder, because I've got so far, but talent will only get you so far. I know it's such a cliche thing to say, but you have got to put the hours in. You really have got to put the hours in. Getting the record deal is the easy bit, mate. Getting the record deal, there's thousands of record labels out there that'll give a lot of people a chance, but the hard thing is getting on radios and selling tickets. Those are the real challenging things.
Well, you mentioned them there, the Lathams. We've had them on an episode of the podcast. I interviewed them down at Tramlines Festival this year, and so down to earth. And who else did I interview when they were playing with them? right now. It'll come to me in a bit. But every people who I speak to who've been around those lads have just said how down to earth they are and how they know how much hard work is needed, and they're still not ready to slow down. They've already started the second album, and they're the band at the minute, aren't they? That everybody's seeing everywhere. What was your experience with them when you supported them?
It was amazing. I'm going to tell you a funny story now. Actually, it was amazing. The gigs were brilliant. We've done Newcastle Academy, which was really special. We've done Birmingham, and the last night we've done in Rock City in Nottingham. And in Scott, the guitarist, because I'm quite an avid darts player. My bass player play for England. He's fucking shit hot. I was pretty good. Just played various leagues and all that kind of stuff, competitions. And Scott has just started playing darts, right? So I'm giving it fucking big licks backstage. Anyway, I don't know if you can. I don't know how to word this right, but I wasn't 100%, right? I wasn't 100% after the gig, and he fucking beat us. The guitarist from the Lathams fucking beat us. So I owe him. I owe him another game, but I felt shocking because so they had like 3 sets of darts in their room or whatever, and obviously I had to bring mine. And for whatever reason, probably the drink, but I was throwing these darts and the flight kept on coming out. And I don't know if you play darts, but the little flight.
Yeah.
And every time I was trying to put it back in, the flight was splitting. And I think I fucking wrecked about 15 of their flights. I'm talking every odd dart would come out, and then I'd be like hammering this flight. And I was trying to give a good impression because I don't know the lads too well. And they would invite us in their dressing room and all that kind of stuff. And, and I'm fucking just sitting there vandalising their stuff. And I'm ruining all their flights. So if Scott does watch this, which I don't know if he does, but if he does, I've got about 10 sets of flights for him in the house.
I'll tag him in.
And I'll be fucking giving him another game as well because although I tell you what I did do, this came to us now, you've got to put this in. Yep. So he was beating 2-0, right? It's fucking horrific, right? I wasn't playing very well. In the last leg, I beat him on my knees. So
okay. So the dartboard's in the normal position, quite like eye level, and you were on your knees shooting up.
Yeah. Took us 1 dart to hit the double, mate, on my knees.
Now then.
Easy.
How did that moment live up to like recording with Noel?
Well, hitting the double on my knees. Amazing. It was 10 times better.
Well, it's just amazing to watch your journey. You've supported the Libertines as well. I'm sure you've got a few stories about them guys.
No, but we've done a few Pete shows.
Yeah. Oh, Pete, is it Peter? Okay.
Yeah. I've done 4 Pete shows. My first Libertines show is December the 3rd.
Ah, okay.
In the academy, so that's why. So that'll be good. And then I think they've got.
How was Pete then?
Yeah, he's great. I was. I think as everybody is. First time you go to meet Pete Doherty, you're a little bit. You don't know what kind of Pete you're going to get. Do you know what I mean? But it was really, really well spoken. He looks healthy. Yeah, he was really, really, really good lad to have around. He's really talkative and stuff, man. Yeah. He knows a lot. He knows a lot about, fucking bizarrely, he knows a lot about QPR's history.
Okay.
I don't even think QPR know a lot about their own history. But yeah, he knows an awful lot about QPR history. So he was like blowing my mind with all these facts of like, yeah, I remember when QPR played Newcastle in 1983 and we beat us 4-3 and I was like, fucking hell, how do you know that? But no, he's great, mate. He was great. I was really surprised, really, really surprised. But he looks good. He looks healthy. And we've done a song together in Derby. It was, and we rehearsed it. There's footage of it on YouTube actually, if you can find the link.
Yeah.
And we've done High Flying Bird, which is weirdly where Noel got the name for his band from the Jefferson Airplane album. And we rehearsed it before he went on stage, like just sort of backstage. We're just sort of jamming the song. You went, do you want to do it? I went, yeah. So we went on stage. I'm half cut. He gives us this guitar, and he's a lot taller than me, so the guitar's like kind of down at my knees. And it's like dead sweaty, and I'm slipping off the guitar and all this, and I'm trying to fucking hack away at it, and I'm playing the guitar, and he forgot all the words. So it was just an absolute mess on stage, but it was quite funny. It was really, really good experience. And out of those gigs came the record deal. But I've got a lot of respect for Pete. Yeah. We always get on pretty well. Yeah, I'd like to say.
He's a storyteller, isn't it? I mean, I like storytellers, and I see you as a storyteller as well. Did you connect on that level?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Particularly on my more closer to home songs, if you will, more the stories. He loves all that kind of stuff, and we had a little bit of a jam and all that kind of stuff backstage, and we spoke and we shared stories and all that kind of stuff. And Jai's manager, who runs the label, he said that was one of the main reasons why they wanted us involved, because first and foremost it's about the songs. And I remember Jai turning on to us and saying he's not asked about what's trendy or what's in the news or whatever. He wants what sounds good to him. So it's good. It's a good record label to be on, and I'm surrounded by some good people. I'm in a good place at the minute.
It's always fascinated me when you start doing your own headline gigs. I know you've got these gigs with This Feeling coming up in Manchester, Leeds, is it? And where's the other one? I can't remember.
We've got Manchester, Leeds, and London. I think are the three This Feeling ones.
I'll put a link to all the shows on this podcast description anyway. But I'm always fascinated how you pick up fans away from your home place. How do the record label have some kind of like information or algorithm to see where people are interested in your music? Is there such a thing as that? You know, where to book you for tours and that kind of stuff. I'm just interested to know what behind the scenes, if there's anything there that helps you, develop different pockets of the country.
Yeah. Well, the record label just deal with the records. They just pay and put out the music. So they don't really have anything to do with the gigs. Hence why you've now got TikTok artists and fucking viral Love Island people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Making music because they've got that big of a following that a record label take a punt on them. Do you know what I mean? Who cares if they sell tickets? They've got 2 million followers, so they're going to get 10 million streams. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of how it works. So gig wise comes from your agent. So I've got a really, really good agent. I believe it's ATC. I should probably know that he is my agent, but he's called Scully. He's a great guy. So he books all of my gigs, and it doesn't work in so much of an algorithm. The first tour, so this one, we've predominantly tried to keep it the north of England. So we're doing Leeds, we're doing Manchester, we're doing Newcastle, done it with Glasgow. So it's all in that north of England area. I mean, I'm not going to sell as many tickets in Brighton as I am in Leeds. Do you know what I mean? That's just common sense. So I suppose you just work your way down. And these gigs, apart from the Newcastle one, which we've done 1,000 tickets for, they're all quite nice gigs. So like 250, 350 cap. Do you know what I mean? So they're going to be nice intimate shows. The ones that sell out will stay there next year and we'll upgrade the venues. The ones that don't sell out will just hang around there. And then I suppose you just move south. Do you know what I mean?
That's what hard work is, isn't it? So you're just going back to Sam a little bit. He'll have been doing that for the last 5 or 6 years without anybody knowing who Sam Fender is. He's just out there.
Yeah, that's it. It really is that grind, which is why I hate being off.
Yeah,
I've got like 2 weeks off at the minute, and I absolutely hate it because there's just no way of me really getting my name out there other than playing on socials. And who wants to play on your phone when you can go for a pint? You know what I mean? It's a bit of a no-brainer. So, I suppose we'll be trying to a bloke at Virgin, Ted Cockle. If anybody, if there'll be a lot of people in music who know who he is. He's a very, very, very good man. And he was one of the first people, other than Noel, who actually believed in me. So I've got a lot of time for that man. And he always said to win our first ever Virgin meeting, conquer your area first. He said, don't even worry about London. Don't worry about going down south. He went, until you sell 700-800 tickets in your city, that's when you need to start concentrating on other places. And he was right, man. So we just grafted Newcastle, and the next headline show, I can't say too much because it's not getting announced till next year, but it's going to be unbelievable, unbelievable. So we're going to continue to grow our area and just kind of go out small. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to go in all guns blazing. These things take time. As you said with Sam, he's gigged for years. It'll come eventually.
Yeah, it's just I like to stick on just how hard work it is, and just trying to explain to people that just see people on the telly once and think, oh, they've had it easy then. Oh, they must be loaded. They don't see all the years of graft and doing gigs that you lose money on as well. Like, you're trying to find your audiences wherever you are, and sometimes you're going to lose money by trying out a different city, or even like going to Brighton for a gig. You might lose money on it, but you might pick up a few fans, and that's where it starts down south. It's a massive
yeah.
thing.
I mean, if you're an unsigned band now or an unsigned artist, and you're making a profit at the end of the year, fucking, you're charging some serious fees. Do you know what I mean? You're charging some serious fees. We've done so many gigs that you lose money on. You do festivals that you lose money on because you go and do the festival, and it's good to meet people, and it's good to meet PR people and all that kind of stuff. You've got to expect to lose money in the first 2 or 3 years. This year's been obviously horrific with the lockdown.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for my bigger shows, as in like the Newcastle show and some of the big festivals that we've done, I'd be losing money this year. Do you know what I mean? Next year is going to be hopefully the year that we're beginning to make some money, because we've got a really big tour lined up and all that kind of stuff. We've got some really good supports. But again, it's like we've done this for like 2 years now, and we haven't made a great deal. Do you know what I mean? So we've worked, and me and my manager fronted an awful lot of costs, particularly for the festivals. You know, hiring vans, because it doesn't come from nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Someone's got to pay for it.
I know of a band that supported Liam Gallagher on his last European tour, and they were a few £1,000 down by the end of it.
Who was the band? Can you not say?
Twisted Wheel.
Oh right, are they still going? Twisted Wheel, Christ. Johnny Brown.
Johnny Brown's doing his own solo stuff now, and I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'd imagine they'd come back at some point. Twisted Wheel. But you know, just knowing the lads, it's and people would naturally think supporting Liam Gallagher, you'll be loaded. But you're not. You've got to pay your own hotel fees. You do get paid for doing the gigs, but sometimes that's still not enough to cover your own travel costs and live out in Europe while you're supporting in big arenas. But the comeback from that is that your socials and the people that are aware of your band is growing. So in the future, it should make you more. You're building fans, so that has its own value, I suppose.
Mate, you can make more money playing a wedding than you can playing a gig some weeks. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But you're not going to get to the next level playing weddings.
Yeah.
So it's that gamble, isn't it? It's like it's kind of one way or the other.
Yeah. The last thing I saw you on social media was your little chat about Hit the North Festival. And why did you feel you had to publish that about coming out sooner, about pulling yourself from the gig? Why did you feel you had to go to that step to make a statement about it when loads of bands had pulled rightly from that festival because of all the allegations that are going on behind the scenes that we don't need to go into? But why did you feel you personally had to make a statement about pulling out?
Because of the stick I was getting.
What, online?
It was awful, mate. It was absolutely. I'm quite a thick-skinned person. You know, I'll kind of. If somebody gives us a good reason to argue with them, I'll argue with them.
Yeah.
But by the finish, I was getting middle-aged men sending us voice notes of like.
Really?
Didn't even know what Hit the North Festival was. They'd never heard one of my songs, but they'd seen somebody on Twitter going, "Who the fuck's this Andrew Cushin kid? Why hasn't he pulled out the festival? What a prick! We need to get him on Northeast Music." And they'd gone, "Oh, I'll have a go at him as well." And it was like, no, you didn't get to do both. You know, you either if you're a fan of music, you know, you don't get to slag us off, and if you don't like us, you know, don't then come out and support us after I've done the video.
Yeah,
it was weird, mate. There was a lot of two-faced people around that week. I mean, listen, I'll say it again. I'm pleased I pulled out of that festival, and I should have pulled out from day one. But the issue was, I knew just on people tagging us in ticket links that I was going to be at least 200, maybe 300 people there that just paid to come and see me. And I said this from day one, I don't play for myself. I don't play for my family or agents or management or for financial gain. As we've said, I've lost a lot of money doing gigs. I only play for the people that want to listen. And if I've got
people that don't know, the festival was in Newcastle, your hometown, as well. Just
mate, if this festival had been anywhere else in the world, I would have fucking cancelled it. Do you know what I mean? It could have been in Las Vegas, and I would have cancelled it. I would have pulled up from day one. But the issue was, I knew that there was a lot of people just on the pre-sale that were buying tickets just to come see me. And I thought, you know, if you're going to go to work Monday to Friday and graft your arse off, and then come to a weekend and buy 4 tickets for you, your missus, and your 2 kids because you want to go watch Andrew Cushin for the first time, I'm not going to let you down. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be that arsehole. Yeah. By the finish, as other bands were pulling out, I began to think, right, yeah, I love my fans and all that, but if I do this gig, you know, my head's not good. It's going to be taken off my shoulders. But the stick kept on coming, and I thought, I've done the right thing. I've pulled out. I've apologised to the fans. and I've pulled out of the festival, which was the right thing to do. Why am I still getting stick? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was going on for hours and hours and hours. And I thought, fuck this, I need to do something.
Yeah.
So that video was just purely to call out the people that were giving us stick
Hmm.
and kind of rein in a little bit of support. Do you know what I mean? And we did, and since that video went out, not one person gave us a bit of grief. So it just comes down to that whole keyboard warrior thing. It was just
it's horrific. A brave thing to do from you. It was brave of you. It was brave for you to come out, and because I you know, a lot of bands were gradually pulling themselves out of the festival, but it didn't feel like they were getting as much stick as what you were.
Yeah, and a lot of people played on the fact that they didn't know what was going on. You know, my fucking arse, you didn't know what was going on. Everybody was aware of the allegations for weeks. I'll be honest with you, I was aware. I wasn't aware of how in depth they were, but I was aware of what was happening. But again, it was like, right, turn up, do the gig, never work with them again. That's it. Do you know what I mean? Play for the fans. People going on Twitter, you know, we've just found out the allegations. Don't fucking like yourself, mate. You know, everybody got the memo weeks before. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Pulling out was 100% the right thing to do. I certainly won't put myself in that position again. And so, like I said in the video, man, I'm a 21-year-old kid. Do you know what I mean? I haven't even been in the music industry for 2 years yet. Everybody makes mistakes. And I made a mistake and I held my hands up and I apologise for making that mistake. And like I've said to everybody, I'll not be doing it again. And I certainly won't be putting myself in that position again. Me management haven't been doing it for a great deal of time. Maybe they made a mistake. Who knows? But as I say, I apologised and we moved on. And I think doing that video just shed a little bit of light that, you know, I'm not some puppet that's just there to play the guitar and pick up a wage. You know, I'm a fucking real person. Yeah. And it's one of them. But pulling out was the right thing to do, and doing the video was a good way of calling out the people that need called out. But don't for 1 minute you get away on Twitter with putting on that you've just found out or you've just been tagged in this. Maybe the odd person did, but from what I know, 90% of the people on that thing knew exactly what was going on.
It's a big thing, virtue signaling online, like thinking you like. All these people that have a go online, it's like they've never made a mistake in their own lives. I'm 43. I drop a bollock all the time. You're never old enough to not drop a bollock or make a mistake or make the wrong call sometime, particularly in today's world. It's going to happen. And these people that feel that they have the right to have their opinion do have the right to have their opinion, but they don't have the right to lie and to pretend to be somebody else that they're not, because it's just I hate the whole virtue signaling thing. Like, you know, being self-righteous and stuff like that when you know these people are probably, you know, make mistakes like every fucker does in the world. And I just that's just the online world that people just need to be more aware of, really, is that these people that look like they've got a perfect life online are just, you know, they're going to have all the problems that everybody does in the world. It's just that a few more people follow him on Instagram. But what's that really mean?
Well, that's it, man. That's it. And I mean, my mistake was pulling out of a gig 2 weeks later than I should have.
Yeah. I know, it's laughable, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? I lamped a guitar around someone's head at a gig. I never called anyone.
Yeah.
I pulled out of a gig 2 weeks later than I should have.
Yeah.
And the stick that I was getting for that was just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, the main reason why I wanted to bring it up is to say I think you were brave for it. I think it was a brave thing to do. It's the right thing to do, and you know, well done. I just wanted to say.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And very vocal on needles. I'm gonna make it lighter in a bit. I'm gonna lighten it up, this fucking thing. Good song. It's a good song. That it was good. The melody was the melody was nice, but the topic was fucking horrendous.
The topic's awful, mate.
Yeah.
It's awful. You know what, right? It's one of them things where I've seen a few things online about people getting spiked with the needles, and it's one of those where you don't believe it's happening until it happens in your own city.
Yeah.
And there was a lad on Instagram, I forget his name, but his post went viral, and it was a photo of a few lads walking into a powerhouse. Right. You might want to, maybe he's just walking into a nightclub. Maybe it's not call out powerhouse because I quite like to go there. I don't want to get down to the nightclub. Anyway, so this lad was walking into a nightclub, and he had been reportedly spiking people. And this post went viral, and I couldn't believe it, mate. I know I've got a 16-year-old sister at home, and nobody goes to town when you're 18 now. Everybody goes to town when you're a little bit underage. So she's probably going to be going to town within 12 months. And I dread to think that this is still happening to her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's absolutely horrific. And we've done an interview with Metro Radio. We've done a little bit of an interview with the Chronicle. And I couldn't believe the lack of media attention that it was getting. I haven't seen any police enforcement. I haven't seen nothing. The only sort of coverage that this is getting has come from people on social media. It's come from people like myself, or people's posts going viral. You know, I haven't seen it on the news or anything like that. You know, maybe little things here and there when somebody gets spiked and, has a really bad turn. But, they should be plastered over every newspaper. They should be all over the news. You know, we're still moaning on about COVID now and again. We should be concentrating on this, man. It's fucking horrific. You've got young lads and lasses going out with the fear of getting stabbed with a needle. It's horrific, man. It's absolutely horrific. And I didn't do that song. I didn't sit down and think I'm going to write a song about it.
I know.
It's certainly never going to go on Spotify in a few weeks.
Yes.
But I was sat noodling with a guitar, and I finished off something else as that post went viral. Yeah. I think my lass was there as well. And I was just kind of strumming away and just singing the odd words here and there, right? And I think my mother laughed when I finished it. And she thought, that's quite funny. I was like, I might be onto something, So I'd done it again, and I was rehearsing the next day with the band. So I took the guitar down and I recorded it on my phone, and I just put it on TikTok, which I'm not a big fan of TikTok. But I suppose it's one of them social media things that you've got to do now. So I put it on there purely to just raise awareness, and people are loving it. It's mental. Like it ended up, as I say, Metro Radio done a thing on it, and it's been shared over people's Twitters, and it's got a fair few views. But it is purely just to raise awareness. It shouldn't be taken literally. I'm not going to put people down and stab them with their.
It came across that way. It came across that.
Yeah, should do. But it was just purely to raise awareness. Do you know what I mean? And as I say, it's got quite a nice melody. I might take the words out and write an actual song for it. But it's just horrific, mate. It's just horrific. And as I say, there's not enough being done. I haven't seen enough precautions being taken at all.
Through RGM, we follow thousands of gig-going people, and when you kind of shoot through your timeline, there's usually some kind of example of it most Sundays after people have been out on a Saturday night. Like, what's this on my skin here? And you can see they've got like a dot on it on the skin, and they don't know if it's been a needle or not.
It's just horrific. It's just horrific.
What kind of mentality of somebody who carries fucking needles about with him anyway?
Well, exactly. Do you know what I mean?
That's thought of, that's planned, that's
it. It's not like it's the 70s. You know what I mean? Heroin's not trendy anymore.
Yeah.
It's not a cool thing to carry needles with.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's totally bizarre, but so you've now got fear of getting stabbed, getting spiked with your drink, getting spiked with your needle, fucking getting sprayed. Do you know? It's just it's beginning to. The negatives of going out are beginning to outweigh the positives of going out. It's just horrific. If it's fortunate that everybody that I've spoke to are fortunate for them. Obviously, it's still horrific, but the people that I've spoken to that have been spiked have said it was awful, and but all with their friends. Do you know what I mean? I think if you're all going to go out at the minute, it's a precaution that you shouldn't have to take. But I think everybody's just got to go out with 3 or 4 pals, really. Because I couldn't think of nothing worse than going out as a young girl, which I don't go out as a young girl very often, Carl, I'll be honest with you. But I couldn't think of nothing worse than going out as a young girl and being spiked, but being on your own. Do you know what I mean? That would just be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
As I say, that definitely needs to be more done. But I'll keep on sharing it on my end. I haven't got ridiculous social media figures, but the people that follow me seem to be core followers. So yeah, I'll keep on sharing it as much as I possibly can. Anything that I can
well done on that as well, just for raising awareness, mate. You're not picking easy topics. You're going for it, aren't you?
Well, I don't do anything fucking easy, mate. I'll be honest with you.
Well done.
It's easy.
So on a lighter note, then, after all of that, you've got this tour coming up, and I'm coming to see you in Manchester. Yes, the rooms have been upgraded, so it must be selling well, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah. It's nearly sold out now. I think obviously we've got Megan on there. We've got
Megan was at my gig last night in Manchester at Gulliver's. So
really? Yeah.
I had the pleasure of meeting. Do you know her? Do you know her?
Yeah. Well, Little does everybody else know, I'm the one that started her whole musical career, mate.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Go on then, tell us a story about Megan.
So she we spoke a little bit. She used to send us the odd cover and all that kind of stuff. And I think she liked, I think it was Wait for the Rain or something like that. But anyway, it got on to the fact that she enjoyed my music. And she said, I've got this song coming out, which is Polaroid. This is a great song. And I went, oh, I'd love to hear it. And she went, oh, give us your email address. So I sent her, I received this song. And 9 times out of 10, when people send you some music, I'm not going to say 9 times out of 10, maybe 7 or 8 times out of 10, it's not great. So I was kind of expecting something a little bit like that. And I played it, and it like blew my mind, man. I was like, I'm 16 years of age, and like, you've done this is brilliant. And I went, what's your plans for this release? She went, nothing. I was trying, I'm going to send it to like little blogs and stuff, me selling. I'm just going to do like the odd pub gig and all that. And I went, no. I went, you've got to do something with it, man. So I sent it to Mikey at this feeling. I went, listen, I've got this young lass, Megan, she's 16, she's from Wales. She sent us this song. Can you do anything with this, mate? And he went, mate, this is fucking brilliant. Can I get her email and her mobile number? And she's now done a headline show, Isle of Wight, loads of festivals, loads of support gigs. And it's all thanks to me. So
brilliant. So who do I need to tag on this interview then? I'll tag Megan, the Lathams about darts.
You know what, mate? Honestly, mate, I just helping everyone, me, just helping the world,
just keeping the world.
But we've got Megan on it, and we've also got. This is horrific. How can't I? Who's the other band? You're gonna have to cut this bit out.
No, it's fine. I'm going to put all the gig information for all of the shows on the description of this podcast anyway, because I can't remember dates and names and stuff myself.
What are they called? The other band? That's awful. That they're supporting me. I can't even remember their names. Anyway, we've got 2 acts on, both Manchester based. So hopefully it'll sell out. I think we're 80% there now, but the venue's been upgraded, so it'll be a good gig. That it's going to be the second last one of the tour. We're doing Manchester on the 9th, and then we're in Stockton on the 10th. So it'll be a good one. It will be a good one.
So are they all the full band then now? Is every gig a full band one, or are you just doing the odd solo bit as well when you can, or is it a plan just to go full band every time, full band experience?
I'd quite credit to the full band experience. If I'm being honest, my management's not keen on this. I'd like a band name, so it'll still always be Andrew Cushin. I'm still the main attraction, all that kind of bollocks. But the Andrew Cushin something or Andrew Cushin's whatever, because then it's a little.
I'm not so sure about that. And the only reason why I say it is that I know a lot of bands that are coming up that start off name and the whatever name and the thingy, and they kind of break up further down the line because it's always about that one person, and the rest of the band don't tend to appreciate it. I suppose it depends how you've got the band set up, really. So if it's special musicians, then that's different because everybody's just working as a team.
There'll still be session musicians. It'll not be a band as such. It's something to differentiate from. Because if people are coming out to see Andrew Cushin, some people might assume that it's an acoustic show or a full band show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than just putting little brackets in acoustic, it doesn't look too good. So if you had Andrew Cushin in the something, you'd know it was a full band show.
The Andrew Cushin experience.
I mean, like the big tech Jimi Hendrix. But we'll see. We'll see. As I say, it's something that the management aren't too keen on. But I always have these. You
just want them to be part of it, don't you? You don't want. You're an honest lad, aren't you? You're quite honest about it. You want those people behind you to share the limelight with you. It feels like.
No, that's not the case.
I could cut that out then.
You can put it in. I'll tag them.
You get me.
They're getting a set fee, and that's it. If they make any mistakes. No, but it's more so for that. If it's got the band name on it, then you come to watch a band. But again, it's like I have these Andrew Cushin ideas, I call them. So it'll be 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'll wake up and go, right, that's a good idea. I'll ring Lee now at 3 o'clock in the morning because he's definitely going to be awake, and I'll tell him about this great idea that I've had for a song. I normally have them once or twice a week, so it was another Andrew Cushin idea.
I feel it. So the full band experience is coming to a town near you. I presume you can't tell us, but I'm going to ask anyway. What's the plans for the next year after these gigs? Are you allowed? Is there anything that you're allowed to say?
It's not a great deal, but there's some really good stuff. Like it's probably going to be the best year I've ever had.
Is it?
Again, quite a lot of festivals and stuff. Same as this year. I want to concentrate on the ones that we didn't do. So obviously this year we've done Boardmasters and Leeds and Reading Festival and all that kind of stuff. I'd like to do the other ones next year. So we didn't do Why Not? We didn't do Truck Festival, Tramlines and all that. So I'd like to try and concentrate on getting them ones as well. Gig wise, we've got a massive tour. We've got a big tour. It's something like 16 dates, I think.
Wow!
So that's going to be a really good one.
Is that majority in the north? Are you venturing down south with that as well? Or?
Yeah. So that's the one that we're going to be doing the full sweep, full month. So that'll be a really good one. We've got a few supports lined up as well that I can't wait to announce with a couple of really good bands. We've got a few supports with a couple of legendary bands, and then I've also got my massive headline as well, which is going to be announced hopefully around about the same time as some new music comes out. So it shouldn't be too much longer, but that's going to be a really good show.
Well, if you're struggling for Tramlines, I'm putting a little gig on at Frog and Parrot, a boozer in Sheffield on the Friday. So if you're struggling and you want to pass by, mate, I'll get you a few beers. And I know you probably passed that in this stage of your career, but if you're passing, it'd be an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to see you in Manchester. I'm coming to see you in real life to, embrace you and watch Megan as well. And there's a few tickets left, so I encourage people. I'll put links on this podcast in the description for people to join you on the This Feeling tour. And I really appreciate your time today, mate, and enjoy the rest of your day. And is there anything else that you want to say today, or?
No, not at all.
I think we covered everything.
My feelings fell out, so I'm in a little bit of a foul mood, if I'm being honest.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to the dentist. It's only been in a few days as well.
How long you got left of your 2 weeks off? Have you got next week off?
I've got next week off, and then we've got to go do some videos and some PR stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got to get the little bastard fixed within the next 7 days.
Get to the dentist, mate. I'll see you in Manchester, and really appreciate your time, pal.
Nice one. See you soon.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers, pal.
Thank you, boss.